A very warm welcome to you, and thank you so much for joining our Homeopathy 24/7 podcast. We are going to be speaking to an array of international guests who will share their knowledge and experiences of homeopathy with you. We will discuss all types of subjects such as remedies, symptoms, and stories of health. No matter where you are with your homeopathic journey, we aim to inspire you on your quest to natural health and living. The podcast is brought to you by Mary Greensmith, the founder of Homeopathy 24/7, which is a global platform connecting you with a homeopath wherever you are in the world, 24 hours a day. So let's get started with today's chat. Please welcome Mary Greensmith.
Hello, thank you very much for joining me. It's so lovely to see you.
Hi,
And I'm
Mary.
really pleased to welcome Stephanie Joachim. Welcome, Stephanie. How are you?
Hi, Mary. I'm good. Thank you.
It's so lovely to see you. And we've got a lot to talk about today, haven't we?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Tell me what's been happening over the last few days.
Well, Mary, I have been grading for my black belt in Taekwondo. So now I'm a first dan in Taekwondo, and it took me nearly 8 years to get there. So I'm very, very proud to have achieved that at the grand age of 46. So it's a super achievement, and I don't think it has hit home yet until I go to training tomorrow in my shiny new belt.
It's really exciting. Well done. Congratulations. It is
Thank
such
you
a
so
big
much.
thing. And it's not just you in the family, is it? You've got a whole family of taekwondoans.
Absolutely, absolutely, yes. So initially it was my two older children that started at 6 and 7, and then my youngest started at just 3.5, and then I decided to join. And there's still three of us doing it. My older son decided to go then with the Irish sport hurling, so he's still very much involved in sports, but he decided he loves hurling more than Taekwondo. But three of us are still going very regularly, and my daughter is also a black belt, and my son, who's 11, is not far behind. It's very
Oh,
exciting.
it is very exciting. But just for us uninitiated, Stephanie, just explain what hurling is.
Hurling is an Irish sport where you use like a wooden stick. It's like a hockey stick, if you want, with kind of like a ladle at the top. It's a very fast sport. You wear helmets, so that the schlitter is the very hard ball, doesn't hit you in the face or so. Very fast paced. I think it's the most fast paced sport in the world.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
so it's specifically Irish, but it's being played around the world by Irish people in different countries.
Amazing, amazing. So, as a homeopath, where does this fit in? Obviously, we know that homeopathy is brilliant to help with sports injuries and also maybe even maintain health as well. Tell me a little bit about your journey.
Absolutely. So my homeopathy journey started when my daughter was born. She's my oldest child, and I'm originally from Germany. And when I returned to Germany for the first time after she was born, the pharmacist gave me remedies like belladonna and drosera, and she said they're brilliant for fever and for coughs. And I didn't know anything about homeopathy, how to administer them, when to use them. I just didn't know. And fast forward a good few years, somebody recommended a homeopath to me and to my children. So then I started learning more about how to give remedies to my children, what homeopathy can be used for, and then decided to study myself, of course. And it has proved a lifesaver in many situations, from coughs and colds and fevers and the many ailments that can come for a sportive family like ours, and not just for us, but also for our animals and plants.
Oh goodness. Okay, so well, let's go through those one at a time. Let's start with sports. How do you use homeopathy when you're a sporty person, when you're involved with sports and fast sports as you are?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can use homeopathy in many different areas relating to sports. That can start with traveling to sports. So you might travel overseas, you might travel in the car, you might get travel sick, and remedies can be a really good choice to have on hand if you get travel sick. Also, really good for jet lag. I'm traveling with my two children to Malaysia in September. And there's going to be jet lag, and arnica is a brilliant choice for jet lag. So I'll be having that at hand. Um, where else can you use homeopathy? Think about excitement or nervousness before games or before competitions or gradings. You can use remedies that are well suited for anticipatory anxiety, for example, um, because some people get really, really ill with excitement. Some people get really unwell. My father is doing Taekwondo in Germany, and he tells me that he gets diarrhea before every grading. This is how excited he gets, and it is not pleasant for him, and I can help him with that. So anxieties and fears, really good. And then, of course, if you look at the whole injury side of things, just to give you an example, my daughter got concussed last November at a competition, and I was able to help her really well with arnica first and foremost, but then also natsulf, which is a brilliant remedy for um, head injuries and concussions. And so I have all of these at hand, and I bring them to competitions with me, and bumps and bruises, sprains and strains, broken bones. This is where we use the remedies here. Now, just a note of caution that when bones are broken, you need to always make sure that the bones are set properly before you administer, for example, a homeopathic remedy like symphytum, because symphytum is called bone knit and it'll do exactly that. It'll knit the bones together. And if they're not set properly, it'll knit them in a wrong way.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yes, that remedy's been used for years and years, hasn't it?
Absolutely,
Help,
yes.
help bone strength. So, um, so what does everybody else say when you're in a competition, when something's happened? Do people notice that you're giving these strange little white tablets? Do they ask questions?
Questions have been asked, yeah, absolutely. I train in a club in Galway here in the west of Ireland, and the many people that I train with are now aware that I'm a homeopath and that I carry remedies with me. So when I just think about my black belt grading last Sunday, there was a girl who graded with me, and she gets very nervous, and we trained beforehand. She got a knock on the nose. The nose started bleeding and it wouldn't stop. It just wouldn't stop. And she got awful upset because her uniform was soiled, was bloody. And every time she took the tissue out of her nose, it started bleeding again. So I gave her an arnica,
Hmm.
and I gave her aconite because she was in such a frenzy and fearful and crying.
Yeah.
And within 2 minutes, the bleed had stopped. She had settled down, and then she rocked that grading. It was absolutely amazing.
Oh, that's how brilliant to see. Just must be so fantastic. Um, because when it works, it really works, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. So, and like that, I have administered to people from the own club. I sometimes ask other people if I see something happens, if they want to take an arnica. I have met people who have said to me, "Oh, I know about arnica. I just didn't bring it with me." I was at a
Uh-huh.
competition in Belgium, and then I gave them the arnica. And so I'm always very open, and I ask people, are they interested? Do they want to try? Sometimes they don't, and that's absolutely all right. But very often, people are open and they can learn then, that this
Yeah,
is a really good thing to have.
absolutely. I didn't realize you were traveling all around with your taekwondo.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. It is really lovely, especially for the children because they learn so much about different countries and different cultures as well. So not only will I bring remedies for the various injuries, but then also possibly for food poisoning or whatever can happen if you eat something that might not necessarily agree with you.
Yes, yes, of course, because as you say, you're just going into different environments all of the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's been quite a few years you've had this. going, a big part of your family life.
Yeah. Yeah. It's homeopathy is a big part, Taekwondo is a big part, and we're at the stage now where my children will say, "Oh yeah, you can give an arnica for that, or you will need an aconite for that, or go see my mom, she will help you with that." And I think this is absolutely amazing because we're raising the next generation of people who are aware of homeopathy, and they can pass the word on. And I really like this because I think many more people need to know about homeopathy instead of other medications or alongside other medications.
Yes, yes, yes. But of course, so many times there isn't going to be any alternative there, is there? When
Absolutely.
you're on in the moment, there isn't anything for nerves, there isn't anything for excitement, there isn't anything, as you say, for, travel sickness. It's just there are so many things that you don't want to be taking, especially if you're competing and you need to be sharp.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I've seen this happen. I've seen kids who've just, forgotten their patterns or literally like get weak knees when they go on the mats and then they are to compete and they need all their strength. So it is really, really vital and beautiful to see that you can administer a remedy and just a few minutes after they will be able to do exactly what they want to do.
Yes, yes, it just helps them move out of being stuck, doesn't it? Stuck in anxiety
Yes,
and on to the
yes,
next stage.
absolutely.
You mentioned your father is also taekwondoing.
I did. Yes, I did. So my father and I started in around the same time, and he said that he got so inspired by his grandchildren doing Taekwondo. And I also dabbled in martial arts when I was much younger in Germany, and we shared this interest. But I didn't actually realize he had started Taekwondo until he sent me a picture, and he keeps going. He's 71 now, and we always talk, and I always support him. He will come and say, I've got a backache. I will ask what happened. I will suggest to him what he can take. Um, and he's always looking for alternative ways and how to support himself. So I'm very, very proud.
That's so lovely. Yes, I should think you are. And it just means that you've got something that kind of just wraps you all up as a family, doesn't it? And just
Yes, it
you,
does. It does. And
yeah.
in the meantime, my sister's family, my sister is also here in Ireland with me, and she has two small children who started the kiddie program in Taekwondo, and her husband has now started as well. So it's it seems to be spreading out everywhere. It's amazing.
It is. And of course, the remedies that we've spoken about are going to be good for most physical and active sports as well, aren't they?
Absolutely. Yes. So I mentioned my other son who's not doing Taekwondo anymore. Um, and maybe I should also mention my husband who's taken up running. So every month or so, he decides he needs to do a long run, and he suffers from calf cramps really bad afterwards. So I've suggested to him to start taking tissue salts on a regular basis to
Mhm.
just help with those kind of cramps. And he's been very grateful for that because it meant that his cramps at night time are not happening as much anymore. Um, and my son had shoulder injuries from hurling. So if you can imagine a sport with sticks and really fast-paced, injuries can happen. So he got a whack onto the shoulder. There was an injury to the AC joint, and he needed to rest, of course. But I supported him with the likes of arnica, rustox, and ruta as well to just support those tendons to get back into their original state.
Fantastic. Because we know that when you've got tendon injuries and ligament injuries, it can be long and it can be painful, can't it? So
Absolutely, yes.
anything to help that.
So it's very important there, I think, also to manage the expectations, because the expectation cannot be you take a remedy and then you can return to training full
Yeah.
force. And he needed to learn this. There was a recent example. I think he just burned the candle at both ends, and he got really sick with flu, and he wouldn't listen to his body. And the first signs were there on Friday. He didn't actually listen until Sunday when he was running a really bad temperature. And I've had to talk to him. I said, remedies can only do so much, but if you don't stop and listen to your body and give it the rest that it requires, then it'll be a lot harder for the remedies to support you. And this is something where constitutional homeopathy, of course, can look at. Then I have homeopaths for all of my children. I don't treat them myself apart from acute treatments. Just so somebody else can look at what is going on. And if you have somebody who puts themselves under permanent stress, it is, I think, vital that this is being looked at on a more permanent basis.
It's really interesting, isn't it? Just understanding that, because of course, with homeopathy, we know that we are always asking for more information. We're wanting people to observe more, and it is that just mindset, isn't it? Of, well, what is this symptom trying to tell you? What needs to heal here? What actually is? So, and you've got many elements to that, haven't you? You've got your health in the first place, how quickly your body can recover. You've got, okay, this is an injury and the swelling is indicated we don't want you to move this limb.
Yes.
So it's no point in just taking an anti-inflammatory,
Yeah.
because that would encourage you to go and do something.
Absolutely. You need to rest it, you need to ice it, you need to elevate it. So this is the rice we're talking about, yeah.
Yeah.
Rest, ice, compression, and elevation.
Okay.
And alongside that, then remedies would help. I mean, I could tell you about the broken ribs I sustained. It must have been around 2019 in training. I got kicked and I wasn't able to ward the kick off, and it hurt. It hurt really, really bad, and I was under shock. And Arnica managed to bring me down. I managed to drive home, and then I was sitting still for a week.
Yeah.
And I was icing it, and I was taking the remedies. A lot of bryonia I took because I felt so much better for sitting still and staying still, and so much worse for movement. And I actually managed to get through the whole two cracked ribs with only homeopathic remedies and no painkillers required.
That's amazing, isn't it?
It absolutely is, yeah.
I'm just really excited, Stephanie, because I understand that you are writing an ebook about using homeopathy for sports within
Yes.
Taekwondo, martial
Yes,
arts.
absolutely. So the ebook that I'm looking at was specifically for Taekwondo, but can of course be used for any um, any sports, any activities. So the information you find in there are how do you treat with homeopathy? How many pills do you need to take? How often do you need to take them? There's information on remedies to use when traveling for let's say, tissue salts, how you can use your tissue salts, what they can aid with, and then the different ailments we talked about earlier. So the anxieties, the fears, the anticipation, the injuries, broken bones, tendons, ligaments, and so on. And in the end, then you will have a good materia medica that explains the remedies to you, so you can compare exactly which remedy suits you better. Because in homeopathy, it's all about that curing like with like. So you need to find the remedy that is most like you and like your injury.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not specific to the sport, it's specific to how you experience the injury.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, just fantastic. Thank you so much for putting this together, because I know that this is going to be so useful for so many parents to understand what they can be doing for themselves as well as their children, but also perhaps for children wanting to do more sports and wanting to make sure that they are maintaining better health in order to keep well, in order to keep playing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I would suggest to every parent to maybe print out this ebook and get yourself a good homeopathic remedy kit for first aid that you can then bring along and use as needed.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic. Well, what we will do, we'll put the links to that on our underneath, and we'll put the links to your website as well, so that if anybody wants to take this further, learn more, and perhaps work with a homeopath who has this experience, then obviously that seems to me so sensible, and it's going to be needed by so many people. Thank you so much for telling us about it.
Thank you, Mary. I'm delighted.
Stephanie, that was just such a wonderful talk that we have been able to share this morning. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your experience. Now, next week, I will be talking with Mary Cosmos, and we will be talking about how anxiety really expresses in different ways. So we'll be talking about the remedies, about how we look at the remedies, about what we're taking into consideration, and how we are working out and getting down from 500 remedies down to just 1 or 2 that are going to be useful for you. So I look forward to seeing you next week. See you then. I do hope you've enjoyed these episodes, and I do hope you can subscribe to our channels. Now, there are various ways for you to listen to our podcast or watch it on video on YouTube. So whether it's iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube, please do subscribe and please do leave us a review. If you leave us a review on these platforms, then more people will see our podcast. We just want more people to share the joy of homeopathy. It's a choice that everybody should know about. Please do everything you can to help us help more people.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode and look forward to listening to our next one. Please don't forget to follow our podcast on your chosen channel, and please do leave us a review so we can continue to share homeopathy with as many people as possible. If you do have any questions, please do reach out to us on any of our social platforms mentioned in the show notes. We at Homeopathy 24/7 hope to empower you on your natural health journey.